we're coming to you live, as you can probably hear in the background, from the Oldham Beer Festival in Queen Elizabeth Hall. We have a special guest with us at the moment, Andy Cooper.
Yeah.
And Andy, you're the event organiser, is that right?
Certainly, I'm Festival Organiser for Oldham Beer and Cider Festival this year and last year and next year as well.
Oh, that must be a tremendous amount of work to get all this organised.
It's a lot of work. We'll probably have a few weeks break, then we'll have a little meeting with all the volunteers. One, to thank the volunteers who come up and turn up, because no one's working this festival is actually paid to do it. We're all volunteers, and it's a bit of a thank you for them, but it's also a business meeting as well. So it'll be one of those: what went well, what didn't go well, what can we improve, what do we need to ditch, what do we need to do better, etc., etc. And then in about a couple of months after that, we'll start the detailed planning. So it's about 9 months before we'll start working on for the next event.
And have you any insights at the moment about what's not gone well or what has gone well?
There's a few things about managing the door which we need to have a look at, but generally speaking, it's gone very, very smoothly. I'm not. There's nothing sort of critical which I need to have a look at and say, God, that went wrong. This went terribly wrong or anything like that. And it's looking at more that went well actually this year, and we need to repeat again next year.
You mentioned that you had you've got 9 months worth of planning. And could you put that into hours? Or man hours?
I wish I could. It's at the first 3 meetings. There's not a lot to do. It's just about going away and thinking about things. But as you get nearer and nearer the festival, I spend more and more time actually working on it. So if you look at the last 3 weeks, I probably spent maybe about 15-16 hours a week over the last 3 weeks actually doing work, and it's sort of like answering emails, sorting stuff out, organising things. Even before we get anywhere near, we build this festival up from Tuesday morning. We open on Friday, but we start the build-up on Tuesday, and it's about collecting equipment from our regional stores and collecting equipment from our branch stores and just bringing it all in. And then making sure all the beers are in, and then putting the casks up and lifting everything and putting it in its place. So there's this last week's been virtually, put it this way, I'm retired now, but I've never worked as hard when I actually paid for a living as I actually work now doing this beer festival.
I know how you feel. Do you have a target for the money you're wanting to raise? So we know what we'd like to raise, and we have a budget which we think we're going to work to, because we know approximately what the costs are of staging the event, i.e. buying beers, cider, wine principally, but all the additional costs like transport, equipment, bits of equipment which has to be hired in. And we try to aim for around, last year we rose about £5,500 for the MERS charity, just from the one event, and the aim is to try and always make that a little better. So this year we've tried to major on getting sponsorship for the cask. So we've been inviting companies to come and sponsor a cask end, basically, which helps defray the cost. Now, if we could get all 57 casks sponsored, we've virtually paid for the beer. We'd have, the MERS charity wouldn't have to pay anything for the beer. It'd be a win-win from the get-go sort of thing. Every pint sold goes to the MERS charity sort of thing. That's what we try to aim for. So really, there's no target. The aim is to make a profit, but let's try and maximise that profit to get as much as we can, and for the charity. So do you, or should I say,
I'm assuming you actually physically buy the casks first, and then so you've got to fork out that money first to recoup it.
Well, it comes. We don't fork out it. It comes from the MERS charity initially. The actual outlay for the casks. We've got a really good beer organiser. Beer organiser, John Shufflebottom, he starts his work usually around about October, November of trying to source which beers we're actually going to get. So he'll coordinate what we're going to get, the idea. So we'll get... nothing like a successful festival. Anyway, it's about he'll source 24 casks. The idea is we have a theme of getting beers from a certain region every year. So we'll get 24 casks. This year it's from the sort of general Nottingham area. We'll get those, bring them in, but he's got to coordinate getting 24 casks from all over Nottingham basically and then bring them back up here. And then the other thing we do is then approach our local branch breweries within the Oldham, Rochdale, Bury areas and see if they're interested in bringing casks in, which inevitably they are. And it's about getting those casks in. But they're all paid for initially by the charity in the expectation that we've got to get the money back to pay for them and defray that cost.
Jack, you had just a breaking news you were saying you wanted to ask about.
I did, yes. The festival originally had said that we were going to do free admission from 4 o'clock. That's now been brought forward to immediately. So we've got free admission to the festival from now on. So come along down if you fancy a couple of drinks.
Andy, why have we taken away the admission fee?
Well, basically, it's all about being fair to the people who come in. The beer selection has just gone down to a level where we think it's not fair to actually charge people to come in any longer. We're down to now half the casks which we got in, virtually still on. So, it's a judgment call really about when we could have still charged people to come in, but they're not getting the selection that they could have got yesterday. So it's about being fair and honest with people and encouraging to come in. It's not like, hopefully they'll come in, fill the boots, sell them and buy the beer up sort of thing, but I don't think we're in any danger of sort of not selling out. So it's a case of when it actually goes sort of thing.
I wanted just to ask Andy something, because you and I have worked kind of closely on the Mayor's Charity Committee. When we have these little meetings and we discuss all the lead up, as you say, which doesn't just happen overnight, Andy. I suppose the question I really want to ask is, what do you do when you get home on a Saturday night after? What do you do on a Saturday night when you get home after the festival?
Collapse.
Because it makes me, like you said, you're a bit of a workaholic. Anyway, we joke about that. Now, obviously, coming up to the festival goes on till what time today, Andy? The festival goes on till what time today?
We're going on till 7 o'clock tonight.
Till 7 o'clock?
Till 7 o'clock tonight,
so
until the beer runs out.
So there's still a few good hours to go yet. Do you find that as the festival progresses, that people who come along maybe get a little bit more, shall we say, rowdy?
You could say that. I mean, we have our one or two characters who regularly turn up and are generally sort of get more merrier as the event goes on and just a little more exuberant. But the volume levels do increase as the festival goes on, sort of thing. So I don't say it gets to the point where we'd all need ear defenders at the end of the evening, but it does get a little bit red. But generally speaking, the good thing about these beer festivals are they're quite, well, not controlled, but they're quite responsible events. People are here to sample beer, not to go and get out and get raving drunk. So in terms of actually having to eject people out of the building or anything like that, I
can't remember any time where we've had anyone who's been so rolling drunk we've had to say, I'm sorry, you got to leave the premises. But it's most people are here just to drink and enjoy good real ale, and they drink responsibly. That's all we can say, really.
So while you're here, Andy, as the festival organiser, you've got some news for us, because you said right at the start that you've been doing it for a good number of years.
Yeah.
But it ain't going to finish today, is it?
No, there's been all sorts of rumours that the Queen Elizabeth Hall will not be available for the festival next year. Well, I can actually say we've physically booked the hall for the 4th and 5th of April next year. Same time, same place. It might well be the last beer festival in this hall. There's been all sorts of rumours going round. Probably is the last beer festival in this hall next year, but we're back here next year. And we'll be trying to see what we can do to arrange the beer festival in the new premises beyond 2025.
Beyond that, yeah. Absolutely. Brilliant. Andy, always a pleasure to chat to you. Thank you ever so much for putting on a great event. You must be mightily proud with the outcome of you and your team.
We're certainly pleased. And we can't do it without the volunteers who actually turn up and work the bar. It's a team effort. It's not just me, it's an absolute team effort to get this thing on the road.